Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is Kirusho here, and now, before we do begin, I do have a few things to say about this particular idea. Now, there are powers in MHA that are very OP. All Might's power is a good example. One for All in general is a very good example. And then there actually is powers like All for Ones. You can take and give quirks. You can steal power. There are also powers that are unique and very unstable and dangerous in the wrong hands, such as Decay and Overhaul. Now, Deku's power is actually inspired by those two quirks. Instead of a few things like Overhaul's ability being able to heal you, and Shigaraki's actually just turning you to pure dust, this idea, yeah, it's basically an instant death quirk. If you make physical contact with Deku the wrong way, you'll be murdered. And that's the entire premise behind the idea. Deku, his life is very bad. First of all, Izuku Midori was born about a few years before canon, so already the timeline has changed up just a little bit. Now, Izuku, yeah, he has had his life rough. Whenever he was at the age of 4, he manifested his abilities, and he didn't exactly know what they were. However, that morning, Izuku Midoriya, he called 911. His mother and father, all of a sudden, they dropped dead. And whenever police arrived, they were quite surprised. No sign of home invasion, no sign of a villain. And whenever a police officer actually tried to, well, help Deku and calm him down because of how panicked he was, fact was the police officer dropped dead. And many other people started to notice a few things. The boy is panicking, and is clearly scared. But then there's also this invisible villain, whatever is happening. Now, many more people would be killed in Deku's basically just outburst. Deku doesn't know what's going on. And whenever people finally do understand that it's this kid causing it, they do try to calm him down. A pro hero is able to restrain Deku. And whenever they do find out that it's his hands, there actually is the fact that they do try to get Deku's hands covered with a shirt. And after Deku's hands are wrapped up, they do try to inform him as to what's going on. Izuku Midori is taken to the hospital, and his violent quirk is diagnosed. Now, Izuku Midoriya, he had a bit of a mental shutdown. He broke. He heard the doctor tell him exactly the same words I'm about to say. This is very interesting. A one-of-a-kind power. It's very villainous. You have the ability to kill anything you touch with your hands. If you have physical contact, all 5 fingers, the thing you touch will immediately die. It's unknown as to what happens, but the doctor believes that Deku, he releases a very violent chemical into them. And this chemical completely would shut down the body. And, in the best way of saying it, provide a painless kill. Now, Deku was surprised to hear those words. And the doctor? Yeah. He already had Deku written in for a multitude of therapy sessions. Now, Izuku is told quite simply what to do. Wear a pair of gloves all day, and people will be safe. People will be fine. Izuku had trouble with his quirk. And whenever people were made aware as to Deku's instant kill ability, yeah, that adoption doesn't seem very good at the moment. Now, Deku, he just wanted to live his life quirkless. Anything is better than his power. He can't relax. If he touches anything made of living matter, it'll be destroyed. If he touches inorganic matter, things are okay. They don't decay. But, well, living matter, that's an issue. He can touch raw meat, and nothing seems to happen to it. It's already gone, it's already dead. Is it because it's inanimate or not living? Well, that's definitely something. Now, Izuku had trouble throughout his entire life. People, they were around him, but anytime he brought his hands up or had his hands visible, people always stared at them. Deku might as well have been waving around a gun whenever he brought his hand up, and people, they were kind of wary of that trigger. Now, Izuku, he actually was able to get out of the system one day, and whenever he did start getting a job and working, he worked at a place for a few years. Eventually, he was able to get a pay raise, and well, he got a single apartment. Now, Deku stayed there for some time, and right now, he is currently on shift trying to go through quite a bit of things. As he currently does, set down some coffee in front of somebody and ask them if they would like anything else. The person informing him that they actually would like something sweet and very good. And Deku does go to somewhat walk over and over to the bakery area. Him grabbing a piece of a pie and walking back over with it, sitting it back down before asking them if that would be all they would like. Yes, that's fine. Thank you. Thank you for dining with us today. I'm gonna be over there if you need me. Now, Deku, he would head back over to the counter. And whenever he does sit down, he does start to clean a few things before somebody else does come walking in. Deku looking up and seeing a girl. I just walk over and sit down. Can I take your order? Or would you like to see the drinks? We have very good pastries at this cafe. Thanks. But I'd like to talk. Sorry, I can't really talk here. This place sort of keeps me busy. And if I'm not doing something that my boss, he's kind of a hard ass. That's just such a shame. I'd like to talk to you. Okay. About a multitude of things, actually. Really? Yes. You don't like your boss. Does that mean that you're looking for another job? Oh, well, I mean, I say my boss is tough on me and he doesn't really like me very much, but I'm sure he's just sort of like a guy. It's just he's busy running this place and doing a lot of other stuff. I don't know. He just he pushes you because he wants you to be better. I just it's complicated. But oh, is there anything else? Maybe. But I was curious. Have you thought about a different line of work? A different line? Yes. You're in the service industry. You work at a cafe. You haven't thought of doing anything else? Public servant, police officer, hero? Oh, no, no, no. Sorry, not really the hero type. I've, not sure I could fit in. Because of your quirk? Hmm? No, no, I don't have a quirk. I'm quirkless. I'm just quirkless. Really? Then I must have been mistaken whenever I thought you were Izuku Midoriya. What? Wait, are you a cop or are you a hero? Oh God. Listen, if something happened, I wasn't involved, okay? I'm just trying to lay low and live a good life. I understand that my quirk is villainous, but I'm not trying to hurt anyone. Hmm? Oh, really? Now the truth comes out. I'm not a hero, and I'm not with the police. I'm not with any member of the government. Really? Then who are you? Hmm? Well, isn't that something that you'd have to be intrigued to find out? Listen. The person looking over towards the window, before waving. Now, some people do start to walk in. And right now, Deku, he does actually watch as the people who do walk in, they do look around the cafe. And right now, a lot of people, they actually are beginning to leave. That group looks kinda sketchy. And right now, the fact is, Deku, he does look at many of them as customers leave. Now, Deku does currently stand in front of the girl, and she actually does continue on, expressing how she wants to know if he wants to be part of their employment, work for them. Things would be easier, things would be better, more pay, and more freedom. Now, Deku's kind of alarmed. He still doesn't believe this. This can't be real, right? Now, Deku's boss has come walking out, and right now, he actually does walk out to see Deku, standing right there, surprised, in front of 5 people. And right now, Deku, yeah. He does look over at his boss, who does come walking over, shouting at Izuku to get the hell back to work. And how, right now, today, it's slow, but he still can't stand around and do nothing. Now, Deku does bring his hands up and tell his boss that he'll get back to work right away. As right now the woman does turn her head and ask him, exactly how hard does he push that boy? Kid gets to work. That's good. Hell, does what he needs to. It's better. Besides, I pay him well. Really? But isn't your espresso maker fried? It'll be fixed next week. That's about it. Sir. Deku looking up, and the man has turned to him. Deku expressing, he said that last week as well. The company never called him back, did they? And the man is slightly annoyed, telling Izuku to just keep his mouth shut. And Deku to stare at him, before looking back down. The girl walking over and bring her hand up and onto the man's shoulder, expressing her to be kinder to him. Now, the minister just screamed out in pain, as right now Deku doesn't want to look up and watch. His boss's left shoulder and his shirt. There's exposed flesh and blood. And right now, he actually just somewhat collapsed onto the ground, grabbing his wound. And he actually just looked back up, before Shigaraki does inform Kirigiri to go close the store. Now, he'll go to stand up and do so. And right now the boss, he does stand there, watching the villains. And Deku just sits there kind of petrified. Before, after walking back over, Shigaraki, she does actually bring up her hand, informing Izuku. She forgot to introduce herself. She's somebody with a villainous power. And she is working with people to actually change the status quo. The world sees them as villains, and it will always do so. Right now, Izuku, his power has taken much from him. If he wants his own power back, if he wants to take control of his life, then do so. Now, Deku does reach out his hand. And whenever he does so, their actions with Shigaraki, she just grab Deku's glove and pull it off. And Deku, he actually just brings his fingers together for the first time since this morning. He's not wearing a glove at work. He can feel the air. I mean, his hands are sweaty, but his hand isn't shaking. He doesn't feel like he has to restrain himself. Deku's boss is kind of alarmed, especially whenever Deku, he does actually reach down for his boss to grab his hand. And the man, he thinks that Deku may have come to his senses. However, Deku, he still was talking to that villainous chick. The crazy lady who just fucking... What is this? She didn't... she didn't stab him, she didn't fucking... What the hell did she do to his arm? Now, the man reaches out and grabs Deku's hand. And the moment he does, directly stare at Deku. His eyes rolling into the back of his head as blood starts to pour from his nose. And the moment the man, he reached out and grabbed Deku, the entire shop went silent, as he just fell forwards onto the ground. And Deku, he let go of his boss's hand. Now, everybody in the shop was kind of surprised. Instant death. And what just happened? That was. That's his quirk? A death touch. He can kill anyone he makes physical contact with. That's that's a villainous power if they've ever fucking seen one. Now, Deku doesn't look at his hands, and he does try to think about it. If he goes with them, he can take the gloves off. Literally, he doesn't have to wear them. It's kind of funny. All his life he's tried to avoid this power. It caused him so much pain. But now he feels free, liberated. It just, he feels better. No more of that annoying old bastard. Now, the do see Deku just stare at his hands before he starts to smile. And right now, Shigaraki, she smiles as well. As she actually started to tell Deku, right now he does need to be careful. The master will want to meet him. The master will want to learn more about his ability. And if he does actually want to join the League of Villains to try and fight the heroes for their own place in society, he can. He's welcome to it. In fact, it might be refreshing. Even then, whenever they do win, they will have rule. They will say who's a hero and who's a villain. And their revolution will be one that should be remembered. Especially with him on their side. Because really, how are you going to try and restrain a man if you can't even touch him? And if he touches you, then you're immediately just off of the playing board. Now, or playing field. Now, with that being said, Deku would leave with the villains. And right now, whenever Deku's boss is found, it is believed that something happened here. However, whenever they do look into Izuku Midori and where he might have disappeared to, they do find quite a bit of things. Izuku Midori has a quirk called Instant Death. But very clearly what happened here was this man was attacked. And that does say quite a bit. This man has wounds. So if this was Izuku Midori's quirk, it wouldn't have left these wounds. But that's just adding to more questions. What happened here? And where did the boy go? Now, with that being said, Deku has quite the promising future ahead of himself. He may have found a family. People who don't see him as a monster. People who don't laugh at him or pity him in a way. Because they think that just because he has that simple power, the power of death in his own very hands, that he won't use it. There are people who see him as naive, and people who see him as lesser. And then there are those who see him as a monster. Now, with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed, and have an amazing day. I'll catch you guys in the next one.